Well, hello everybody. I just was thinking, I thought it'd be fun to go live here right now. It's like 11:30 here. Probably all kinds of different times everywhere, but sometimes other people like to have weird times like this because people on the other side of the world in Australia and UK can be on at different times and catch people that aren't normally live. Give people a little bit of time to join up here, but having a pretty good Christmas Eve so far. We went to Papa Gary's house tonight and let the kids play. I ended up having to work a little too long, so the kids didn't get out there as early as I wanted to. We were going to do all of our outdoor things. As it was, we pretty much just got to get out there, and the kids did maybe a half an hour of sledding before the sunlight was gone. But see, I knew I'd get all the people from Australia if I got on really late. So what time is it over there? Well, hey, Tora. I'm not sure what kind of delay I put on there. I didn't pay attention, whatever the default is. Hello, everybody. 5:30 in the evening. Okay. So the old video is a trip to California. Yeah, I was going to watch those one of these days again. Glad we have those. Glad we did that while Andrea was alive. So many things I'll be grateful to watch, but I still can't watch anything. But hi, everybody. I just thought it'd be nice to do a live stream. I hadn't done one in a couple days, and I had people asking, and I was sitting here just not able to sleep and just kind of not really tired and no one to talk to, so I thought I'd call you. St. George, Utah. We broke down there on one of our trips. It must have been a trip to California. Were we streaming then? I don't know if we just did a video or not, but there was a very nice police officer in St. George that really helped us out. We were coasting from battery to battery. We would go to a Walmart and we'd buy two or three car batteries because the alternator was out. And we would put a battery in and we would drive until the battery died. And we only got about, I don't know, not even 100 miles, about 100 miles maybe. And then we would get out in the middle of this freeway and on the side of the road and change the battery. And then we would drive a little more and go to another Walmart, exchange those batteries and get new batteries. I'm so ashamed, but that's how we did it. We got all the way to Little America there, and where there was 24-hour mechanics. And so they replaced our alternator. But not able to sleep here in Minnesota, so I clicked on your notification. So I couldn't sleep either. Whose hair is that? This is Andrea's hair. I had him cut it off when she died. So it just keeps me company. The kids get their shopping done? Yeah, they did. We have not wrapped their presents yet. I still have presents to wrap. I have Christmas toffee to make. I only made that toffee that you guys were helping me on that night. I made that batch. That was going to be for gifts, and I put it into 3 little bags. Because tonight was going to Papa Gary's house for a Christmas Eve party, which we've traditionally done on Christmas Eve. Well, Andrea's done it her entire life. She did it her entire life, and I've done it since I've known her. And but as I'm driving over there, I'm realizing I don't have gifts for anybody. We're not going there, and they're just going to give gifts to my kids, and I felt so selfish. But I got a pass, I guess. So, but I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. I gave away 3 bags to the people I don't see as often, and to the grandparents, and to Laura, and to Maria, which is Andrea's brother Ryan's daughter, and then we're going to make the rest of it. Her hair was beautiful. It doesn't seem like hers up here. I wish I had gotten more. I told them to cut off as much as they could take off the back and still have her look good for the front, I guess, and because I wanted all the kids to have a little lock of her hair, because I don't know, that's important to me, and so I thought it would be important to them. So we gave them all a braid, a small braid, and I got this biggest one, but it's not even that big. I wish I had had like a real braid, like if she had braided her hair and then we just chopped it off. I should have had them do that or something. I regret it now. I don't know. I can never really sleep. I'm pretty much a night owl anyway, so I don't usually go to bed until 12, 1 o'clock most nights. So, but I was just feeling kind of lonely and not tired, so I thought I'd just come in, make necklaces out of it and wear it on the hair. Maybe, yeah. For me, I wanted it to look like it looked on her, but she never had a braid this small. It doesn't have enough of her gray in it. She always had this wonderful gray. She said she was gray since she was 13. Yeah, I do regret that. It is hard to think at the time, but I regret not getting more. When was the last time you played Dungeons and Dragons? I don't think I've ever actually played Dungeons and Dragons. I played some other pencil and paper. I played a Star Wars RPG like that long time ago. Thomas has played it, but we haven't played it. I haven't played it. Glad you still hopping on when you felt lonely or anxious. Thanks for letting us be here for you. Well, I'm glad you guys are all there for me. So I'm looking good, huh? Thank you. Andrea did have thick hair. She had beautiful hair, very long and nice. Street Fighter is my favorite. What? Stidham Family Gospel. We have a lot more in common than I thought we did, even more than the gospel. That was mine too. You any good books lately? Looking to get into reading for the new year? No, I haven't read any good books lately, and I have books I'm overdue on finishing. I don't know. Reading is a luxury I don't have time for anymore. Hi, Tammy. The alert woke me up, so here I am. Well, that's Die Hard. Thank you. It's nice to see you guys. Always in your work clothing. Yeah, this is just what I wear. You can open my closet. That's all that's in there. I have a few fun shirts that have witty sayings on them that I really love. But it seems like whenever you have a cool shirt like that, they're always made out of really crappy material. It's like super thin, and they don't last very long, and they get all see-through. And so I don't really wear them much anymore. This is pretty much my whole wardrobe anyways, and it's for my business. And they're nice, very, very nice shirts. We get really high-end shirts when I get shirts. That's going to be something I'm going to have to do again someday. These are going to wear out. Andrea helped me pick out all these colors. That'll be sad. I keep running into sad things like that. Tom, I'm going to be riding a Santa sleigh to come see you all. I can't get a road trip together. Oh, well, never know. Andrea was beautiful. Does anything still smell of Andrea? No. Nothing. The day she died, the day I lost her was the last time I smelled her. I know I could sort of recreate it if I used her shampoo, but I don't want to do that. I don't know why. It's not really her smell. It's fake. It's some engineered shampoo thing. I think I shared. I'm sitting on the bed. Here, let me see if I can reach it. I think I shared that the lady made the pillows, and she made this out of Andrea's nightgown, and I can't even look at it. Just like that, like if I pick this off the screen there, let's see, how can I get that on the camera? Let's see, there we go. Like that. Just that bonbon. This could be Andrea right here. I always smell it, hoping that it'll smell like her, but it's just like a nasty pillow. But I sure like to look at it. And I also hate to look at it. What about her hair? Does that smell like her? No, I don't think so. No, it just smells dusty. Part of me wants to smell her, and part of me does not want to smell her. Sometimes I think, how in the world has she gone? I can't imagine how you feel. Yeah, I can't imagine how I feel either. I can't. I'm sure you guys saw that video that I put out, our last date night. I didn't realize till the end that it was our last one, because I have two more shopping. I had two shopping vlogs, June and July, and I said, well, maybe for July that'll be our last shopping vlog. I can name it something like that, and maybe I'll put a little montage together. And then I looked on July, and it was just me by myself, and I had forgotten that. So she was hurting a lot, and so she was in bed like that whole last month. She was bedridden. She got up and made dinner and did some things, but generally she didn't want to move. So I went and shopped for her. I'm pretty worried what I'm going to say in there. It's going to probably be very hurtful to me to think about her being sick. But doing that montage at the end really messed me up. It was really hard. I added every single shopping vlog she ever did to the video, and I tried to find one or two little clips, 3-second clips out of each one, and I had it. And I wanted it to be to the happy mandolin music, which was so iconic for her. And but that song's like that's 2 minutes long, that song, and so then I had way too many. I had double the length. I had like 5 minutes worth of clips. So then I had to take them out and cut them down to just the best ones. And that was so hard, and I was so crying. But I'm glad that I did it. It was a lot of work, but I'm glad that I did it. Well, see, that's why I get on late sometimes. Some people can get on that aren't normally on. How long from the time you were okay? You were in Oklahoma. Oh, time from Oklahoma. Did she pass away? I don't remember. You can look at the date on that Oklahoma vlog. She was feeling sick in the vlog. She was laying down. It mainly was her back. Her back was out. So I mean, the cancer had obviously spread to lots of different parts. I don't know if it was in her bones. We never got to see. We were going to get that CAT scan done to find out what stage her cancer was and where it was, but she never made it to that. And so, but we had taken her to the chiropractor a few times because it was mostly because she complained about her back hurting. It was out of place, and it was out of place. She'd go to the chiropractor and he'd pop her around, and she's like, "Oh, it's so great, it's wonderful. I feel so much better." And then it would, a couple days later, it would go out. We'd take her back, and then she would feel better again. And so it was really helping her. It was giving her relief. So I mean, I'm not sure if it was in her bones, maybe, and maybe that's why it was hurting. But it wasn't that long after that. First holiday is hard, and I can't imagine how much more compounded it is. The kiddos to be mindful of as well. See, I don't know. It's different for me. I don't know that the Christmas has been harder. I mean, I was there tonight, opening gifts at Papa Gary's house like we do every year, and I look around, she's not there, and then I cried. But I mean, I cry all the time anyway. So, but I mean, I don't know that the Christmas is necessarily harder for me. I love my family. My family is still my family. It's been cut down considerable with her gone, but I still love my kids, and the atmosphere we have around here is very similar to what it was, and so it's still enjoyable. And there's so many kids, and they all have their own personalities, and it's like our own little party everywhere we go, and we got all the funny ones and the quiet ones and the naughty ones, and they all just act together as it's a nice big group, and so it's always fun and nice and enjoyable. So I don't know that the Christmas time is particularly harder for me. Maybe it is for the kids. The kids all seem to be doing well, but it's just hard every day for me. No, I do plenty of crying. That's usually for just very short bursts. I can't cry for a really long time. It's more frequent, and then lots of little frequent bursts, and then I stop. Christmas Eve in New Zealand. Well, it'll be Christmas Eve here in about 15 minutes. Wish my family got on hearing this. I find Christmas really hard. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it will be. But see, it's weird. I don't know what it is that triggers me being sad, because I know in my heart how she is. She was super logical, like me. She was an INFJ and I'm an INTJ. We both are introverts, and I know how she thought, and she know how I thought, and we were just very reasonable and rational. We didn't do anything that was pointless or fruitless or just pure emotional. We would think about everything, and we'd be reasonable and logical. And so I know what she would say if she was here. She would say, "It'll be fine. Don't worry about it, Tommy. You're gonna get on with your life. You'll find somebody, I'm sure. Kids are gonna be happy. They'll get over it. It'll be fine. Just concentrate on raising them a godly way, and teaching the next generation." That was our next goal, would be to teach the grandkids how to live godly lives. Yeah, that's Andrea's hair. It's here for me. I wish it felt more like her. I needed more of it. It doesn't. I have another little lock down here that if I ever got around to it, I could put together with it, maybe. She cut this off for me when she trimmed her hair. This kind of looks more like hers, but it's not long enough to put together. You can tell she was a lot younger when she cut this one, with more brown in it, but it's more of it. Doesn't smell like her either. I think I've shared this with you guys before, maybe. Read this book. I don't know if you can see it. It says DNA Forever on it. And whenever she wanted to write me a note, a love note, she would write this. She would write on this book, and she would leave it on my pillow. There's not that many in here, maybe 10. And they're really hard to read, and I would write her back. Anyways, it's very special now. Anyways, that's how I cry. I'll bawl like a baby for a few seconds, and immediately my mind will stop me and say, "There's no purpose to this," and it just stops. And it's kind of like, you ever notice when a little kid cries like a baby? If a baby hurts himself, they cry just while it's hurting, and as soon as it stops hurting, they stop crying. And it's not till you get a little older they realize that it's emotionally hurting too, and so they continue crying even after the hurt is gone. But yeah, actually there's a lot less in here than I thought. I don't know how much. It's so hard. I should read it. This first one is not a big deal. I don't know if I can read it. I'll try it though. I don't mind people asking personal questions. I wouldn't answer them if I didn't want to. Dear Tommy, the other day I found some old cards and letters from when we were dating, and it made me wistful for those times. Still, there are moments when I feel overcome with love for you and want to express those feelings in writing. So I created this book. It's a place for the two of us to wax poetic towards one another whenever the urge strikes. A private place to share private feelings, and then once the letter has been composed, to be placed on the bed pillow of the other, to be found, read, and treasured forever. I imagine it being secretly tucked away and love for many years to come. I love you so very much, and I'm thankful to have you to share my life with forever, Andrea. So that's the only one I'm going to share with you. But she was wonderful. I'm glad to have it. It's probably my most important keepsake. Yeah, we did. We went to go see Grandma Fern. I got some footage. She had those blankets all over her room, just like she said, one draped on the back of a couch, one on a recliner. She had one kind of on her, and one was on the side of the chair. Tracy Thompson, we can ask questions. Oh, yeah. I won't answer them if it's not a question I don't want to answer. So, one person's personal question might not be something for somebody else. And you guys know I've all been honest with you, ridiculously honest with you, in fact. And I like that because it makes me feel better. And that's how it was with Andrea. I was always very honest with her. I told her everything, every thought that I had. And that's just the way that I am. And so when I can't be that way, it makes me feel less normal, I guess. And so that's why I don't mind asking those questions. And plus, who knows who it's helping? I get a lot of weird messages that somehow something I said or did really helped people, and I like that. So Grandma Fern's doing good. She told me I'm doing a good job and cried with me and cried for me. I wasn't crying, but I don't know. She knows I was doing a good job. But she gave me a card from a bunch of people she went to high school with. They're all old now, obviously, like her, and they all pitched in, and there's like $25 in it. It was really cute. A bunch of old ladies, and I know one of them was a customer of mine, and it was cute. How was the movie? It was good. It was good. I think they tried to fit way too much nostalgia in there. It was almost laughable. It's like every scene was some nostalgic scene from the other Star Wars movies. But it was good. I like every movie, though. I don't hate any movies. It's enjoyable. Your Bible studies help me a lot. Well, that's amazing. That's wonderful. I'm glad. It's one of those things that Bible study is not our most popular videos, but the people who do like it really like it, and so that it's encouraging to me. Tried to bring family dinner. No one wanted to talk about it. Most people don't know about it, Princess Bubblegum, and if they do know about it, they do not know how to talk about it. And it's the kind of thing that people can get real passionate about or against, and they don't know how to defend against it because you can't defend against it, really. Thank you, Emily. That's very kind. I'm sure he will be with us. Do you have a P.O. box you can send cards into your family? Yep, it should be in the description box right below this video. You can click on it. Said about the night Christ was born. Obviously, don't know, but it's reasonable to believe he's more likely born in spring. I've always heard that is probably born more close to the time he was crucified, and crucified more close to the time he was born. But I think that's just conventional wisdom that make it opposite, and I don't know what they base that on. So I don't know that we know. How was the party at Papa Gary's? It was like it was every year, to be honest with you. It was not my favorite thing to always do. I enjoy watching the kids do it. It's nice being there with people, but I'm not a social visitor. I mean, I guess I like talking to you guys, so I don't know. But you guys are you're like a amalgam of all the people in the world, all of our viewers into one human being that I'm kind of talking with now. And that's I enjoy that, I guess. But I'm not just the kind of person who'll just sit down and visit unless we're talking about the Bible. That'll get me going, or some other topic I'm passionate about, or unless it's somebody that I really have a personal connection with, I don't talk. I don't, and it sounds bad, but I don't know. I can't even say it. I gotta have somebody who I can connect with to talk to, and that could intellectually spar with me, I suppose. and I enjoy bouncing ideas and talking. But I don't just sit and visit. I don't just sit and visit. So mostly I just sat in the corner and watched the kids play and watched people mess with my phone, approving comments. I approved all my comments. Are you doing your New Year's Eve this year? Nope, we're going to do the same thing. We've been doing that for just about as long as me and Andrew have been married. Like 15 years, 16 years. How are your kids coping during the holidays? They've been doing very well. I think they're doing significantly very well. I think when times get sad for whatever reason, like some of the kids are a little emotional, and if they get in trouble or something hurts their feelings, that'll start them on a downward spiral where then they'll get sad and be missing mommy and stuff. But don't open up until you're comfortable with them. I suppose that's it. One of the Myers-Briggs things for INTJ, which is my personality type, showed this circle with several other circles inside of it. And they're just different levels of their personality, and an INTJ will bring you into different levels. But in order to get into the closest level, you've got to have a really deep personal connection. And Andrea was the only one in that circle. And now there's not really anybody there. Asher seems so sad and hurt. Yeah, he's not, though. I know everybody thinks that they can see him and they know how he's feeling, but I promise you, I know when Asher's sad and hurt. We've always known when Asher's sad and hurt. He draws away. He goes to be alone. He doesn't talk. And it's just he's shy. He's very shy. And he's not super wild about being on the videos. He doesn't really mind, but he's not super wild about it. And he's just very stoic, and he doesn't open up to people either unless he knows them and talks to them. So he looks like he's sad all the time, I promise you, but he's always looked that way. You can look at videos 3 or 4 years ago, and he'll look that way all the time. Check about Eden's swimsuit. Oh, Eden's swimsuit? No. Does she think maybe she needs another one? Maybe. It's possible. I'm not sure. If I had to come to Australia someday, I would. I'd like to go anywhere. I've never really traveled very much. But I don't want to go just by myself or even I don't know. I'm not. A lot of people said, you should go traveling, Tom, get your mind off of things. But I don't know that do that. I think it'd be worse. Because those are the things I should have done with Andrea. And then I didn't. We just thought it was, I don't know, seemed like a waste of money and resources to go, really. And as much as I'd love to do it, you can buy a car for the price it would take to send my whole family somewhere. So it's just the kind of thing we never did. But it would be nice. Well, the kids are keeping grief from me. I know you do. That's because you guys care, and I appreciate that. But I promise you, I'm their dad. I spend personal time with them all individually. I talk with them all. I talk with them about mommy. I visit with them. I know them very well. I love them to death. They're my whole world. So I know when they need help, and I'm there when they need help. And I can tell you, they're doing pretty good. Is it true during the Feast of Tabernacles, they also had to be in Jerusalem? If that's true, how could Joseph be there without being outside the law? I don't know that. I don't know that that's true. I haven't heard that. It may be something to it, but I'm not entirely positive about it. She has grown. She may need a larger suit now. She certainly may. I'll look into that. She'll be really sad if she can't wear the one mommy made for her, though. Remember Andrea cried on a video about a friend hurting her? Yep, I know it very well. I know the whole situation, the whole story. You guys probably won't get it. But things worked out, and we're okay. Spending time with the kids is better than traveling. You and Andrew did all the right things. I know that. We'd always love to travel. It's just very, very expensive. I mean, it's expensive for one person to go. You know, for 2 adults and 9 kids, that's a lot. You know, if we were ever to travel, me and Andrew would have gone by ourselves. You know, not that we wouldn't go sometime, maybe. That's why we just travel local. We go on a road trip, drive somewhere. But you know, Bible study Christmas Eve. You know, I think we probably will. Definitely shows they are what keeps you going, and it's the same for them. I love watching you all together. Yeah, they're wonderful. They keep me from absolutely going insane. They're my friends, and they're my kids, and you know, they're just everything to me in the whole world. They're all I got now. Kids been to Disneyland? Have they actually been there? We went to Disneyland when we had 3 or 4, I think. And that's when we promptly decided this is like that, a big giant waste of money. I grew up in Southern California, so I went to Disneyland plenty of times. And I can tell you, Disneyland is not, when you live there, the place to go was not Disneyland, it was Magic Mountain. And when you're a family, the place to go is Knott's Berry Farm, because it's a third of the cost, it's not crowded, they got a whole kid zone, and it's great. So that's all we went to, the Knott's Berry Farm all the time. I missed what Tammy said. First song we dedicated to Andrea title. I always thought we'd have more time. Wow, that's amazing. When was Cyrus due? I could not tell you. She went from 13 to 14 weeks. So by the time Andrea died on August 19th, he was 14 weeks along. So you can probably figure it out from that. Andrea knew the due date, but I don't remember. You may go back on one of the older videos. Oh, did she actually ever announce it? Maybe we didn't. I don't think we ever announced it, so you guys probably don't know. I probably won't ever figure it out. Doesn't matter. Doesn't do anything now, I suppose. Favorite Star Wars character? I'm not a Star Wars nut. I love all movies. I enjoy movies, and I enjoy Star Wars. But I'm not like going to get a tattoo or a bumper sticker of Star Wars or anything. You know, if I had to choose one, it'd probably be the Yoda, the awesome lightsaber bouncing around Yoda from, what is it, second movie? Or something like that. I saw that video by Don Preston he posted a while back, changed my whole view. I had to watch twice. Second time it made so much sense. Oh, great. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. I have one on it, on the End of the World video. I'm not sure if that's the one you're talking about or not, but that's great. Yeah, that's pretty neat. We're going to be talking more about that in the Bible study. What's your favorite movie? That's way too hard. But I really like Matrix is one of my, that's way up there. Inception is way up there. I like movies with intelligent plot lines that are hard to figure out and can have layers of meaning. Lord of the Rings is always really good. That's a gimme. But GG, a lady friend. I guess what that's about. Oh, I see. I like Star Wars. I do like it. But you don't want to make any of your Star Wars fans mad. I like the prequels better than the originals. It's hard to believe, but Star Wars is before me. It's before my time. The original Star Wars movies were before I was born. That's ridiculous, or at least I was 1 or 2. And so I never liked them because I'd watch them and it looked like styrofoam rocks hitting the screen. The effects were so bad. They redid them at some point, but I still couldn't get the taste out of my mouth. So when the new ones came out and they all had updated technology, even though maybe the stories were weak or whatever, I still liked them better. I can't get into it if the effects aren't any good. Oh, see? I messed up all the... I know I tick off all the Star Wars fans. That's a big no-no. I always find it funny how people are super Star Wars nuts, and none of them were born when they came out. It's hard to find the original Star Wars movies, the non-fixed ones. They redid stuff. It's hard to find the absolute unedited originals. Is what you perceive always the truth you believe? What you perceive always... No, that's not always true. Why do you think atheist church? I don't believe in Sasquatch, but a Sasquatch church. Well, that's funny. But they do go to atheist church. They don't call it atheist church. They call it conventions or, something else. But what did they fix on the Star Wars? They just redid a very large portion of the effects. So like whenever they they showed ships flying, they were all CGI ships now, even though they didn't have CGI in those days. They were all models. And every scene they could, they re-edited and changed the thing. They actually did a really good job at it. You almost can't, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know they changed them. But if you were alive long enough, you remember they changed them. Never saw Star Wars or Game of Thrones. Me and Andrea started to watch Game of Thrones. We watched the first episode and it was like, oh my gosh, this is straight up porn. And we stopped watching it. Still might watch it someday. I don't know. Everybody says it's awesome, but I couldn't get past it. Aren't you tired? Not really. Not really. Husbands in the middle of the movie were disappointing. On the new one? I don't know. Hannah's pretty much better. She's still coughing every now and then. We're all coughing every now and then. I'm still coughing every now and then. Whatever this was, it really hangs on. I couldn't believe it. We were so disgusted by it. I mean, say disgusted. I don't think any guy is actually disgusted by that, but I knew that was bad and I didn't want to see it. So, cold lasted 5 months. It probably did. I know we've been sick. I was sick at least 2 months straight. Tom, how's your 90% female chat tonight? Well, that's just what our channel is. I think it's 92.5 is our official ratio of females to males, but that's just because females followed Andrea and females care a lot about their family. Like Andrea would read books about the family. That's all she would do. She would read books all the time about how to do things better for her family and better her family. And I know lots of women are that way, and then by watching videos and stuff. So that's just our audience. But it's good though, How long is the drive to go to Walmart? It takes forever to get home. Yep, it's a half hour. So it's not forever, but it's long enough. You've seen the Baby Yoda? It's the hottest toy this Christmas. I don't doubt it. He's pretty cute. I've seen him in banner ads, random thumbnails on the internet. But we don't have Netflix at least yet. I'm sure we'll get it someday, but just never did it. If humans had EMP devices, why did they use them against the Matrix? They did. They did use EMP, but the machines were too far away. Merry Christmas. Thank you. That's very kind. Cirques. Very kind. Did the kids draw names this year? They did. Are you getting hit on a lot? I've gotten a lot of messages. There's a lot of good stuff on Netflix, so I hear. Just we've never had TV service just because it just took too much time. It just took a lot of time, and we watch a lot of stuff as it is. Thank you, Kim. That's very kind. Does hitting on bother you? No. don't know if I can answer that question. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm just going to just be quiet. Michael Keaton. I made enough videos about that to, I think, answer those questions. So on the money on the stickers goes to you guys, the whole amount? No, not really. I think YouTube takes like 30 or 40%. Oh my goodness, people are really doing the super chats today. Thank you. That's very kind. So we get about 70% of it, so I think is how it works. But that's very nice. I said that to my husband last night. Did I say that to you? Sonny L. Oh, Michael Keaton. I don't think I've heard that before. But when she said it the other night when we were at the drive-thru for Burger King, and I did a small live thing on Facebook while we were there, and the shadows were just right, and I have this little eyebrow thing that looks like it's got like a mountain peak right there. It's got an angle on the top, and I thought that kind of looks kind of like Michael Keaton, where I was, the angle that I was, or whatever. No, the super chat, I think we get about 70% of the super chat. I don't know if that looks like Michael Keaton. Thank you for continuing the channel. Thank you so much. Well, I wouldn't stop it. I really regret that Andrea couldn't die at home. I'm glad that we have Andrea on here. I get a lot of flack still. I think most of the comments I get on that the visit video are negative. I delete a good portion of them. I let some of them through. But people get really upset that I put Andrea's dead body on there. But it was important. We have life, and we have birth, life, death. We have our beliefs, our thoughts, our passions. Everything we had is on this. It's our life. It is our life in pictures. It's not just a vlog. And after we're all dead, it'll be here in some form. And our grandkids, great grandkids, who knows who else can see how we used to live. Like Andrew's video last night, no matter what happens to me, this channel will continue to be a ministry. Oh yeah, I'm sure she did. That sounds about right. She said that. You should send me a message, Tammy, on which video you saw that on. That's interesting. We need to talk more about death to make it easier when it does come. Nobody thinks they're going to die. I had that thought the other day. How often do you see a new baby? Someone comes in with a new baby. Oh, look, there's a baby, so cute. Oh, you tickle him, blah, blah, blah. As often as you see that is as often as people are dying. And we don't talk about that. We don't see it. You hear about somebody had a funeral. You don't see it. Someone told me you have to have a total of $100 to get that 70%. Not exactly. I mean, you do if you don't have very many subscribers. As you get deposits in your account, it's got to get up to $100 before you can make a withdrawal. So if you don't have a lot of subscribers, that'll take a long time. That's not a problem here. Being prepared for death is one of the biggest important things of life. You know, in the Matrix, there's so many philosophical things I love about the Matrix, but you know, they're trying to figure out the point of life. You know, and the computers are all finding it out. Because the point of life is to end. And you know what? That's straight up true. That is the point of life, to end. It's our mortal life, the fact that we are fragile. The Bible calls it flowers of the field, grass of the field. We're here one day and they're gone tomorrow. It's because we're fragile and going to disappear and going to die that what we do has any meaning at all. If you were immortal, we've seen enough sci-fi movies to know if you're immortal, you get bored and nothing means anything at all and you just struggle to feel anything. I'm sure that's how it is. And so it's because we're mortal and going to die that this life is important, that you care if you suffer, that you care if you live good or if somebody else dies. And so I think we need to embrace that mortality, embrace the fact that we're going to die, because only then can you really live. If you don't accept that, you're not really living. The gingerbread cookies were awesome. They were a huge hit. Asher's eating the crud out of them. There's like one left. We set up the elf on the shelf, cutting off a leg with a butcher knife over there, so that'll be fun tomorrow. Oh my goodness, that can't be accurate, is it? Christina Z, $100? Wow, you didn't even say a message. That's extremely kind. Thank you. Wow. That's amazing. I've never seen that color. I guess it gets darker red the more money that it is. I don't know. My mom died when I was 5. So really bad for you and your family. I hope you guys can enjoy this money. Wow, that is very kind of you. We will definitely put it to good use. That is amazing. Oh, that is golden, my kind of elf. Yeah, it was. I'm sure Asher loves that. That's the kind of thing Asher would do. Asher's got a dark sense of humor, in case you didn't know. Today, in fact, I don't know if I should set. I don't know. I'll just tell you anyways. He carried around a little. He has his new coat that one of the YouTubers, you guys sent, a YouTube family sent us, winter coat, and it has a pocket inside, and he calls that his drug pocket. So today he had a little baggie of powdered sugar in his pocket the whole time. He would pull it out. I got drugs, and he just had the greatest fun with it. Yep, this is Andrea's hair. Yep, Asher's a card. He's got a dark sense of humor. He's great fun. All my boys, all my girls, my whole family is wonderful. Watch out, he may get addicted to sugar. Well, I'm sure he is. Where did you get that sense of humor from, Tom? You know what? He actually gets it from Andrea. I mean, I have a good sense of humor, and I'm funny, I think. But that's Andrea. That's Andrea. Asher has always favored Andrea's side of the family. He gets his video game skills from me. He's very good at video games. There's another thing he's really good at. But his getting up early and being super responsible and on top of everything, that's not my side of the family. Do you believe in grief counseling at all? Sure, nothing wrong with grief counseling. I don't want to do it. It wouldn't work for me. Let me just say that. It wouldn't work for me. I know what they do, and I don't have any relationship with the person I'm talking to. Honestly, talking to you guys is the best thing for me, I think. Or talking to someone else close. I have a few people I can talk to. Trying to wind down for the evening. Glad I could catch your live stream. Yep, it is. It is pretty late over there. I'm sorry about you guys. It also is nice to get on for the people in Australia and UK and stuff. Yeah, striking over 600 in chat. Oh yeah, sure enough. I think the live chats is grief counting enough can be. I think so to me. It's nice to be able to just talk. I feel really better. I was feeling lonely and used to love what Asher bought Andrea. Chick. Chocolate maybe? There's still all the ones you bought. Oh yeah. I still have, there's still a giant stack of the ones Asher bought her. She'd stack them up. She'd never get to eat them all. 6:21 p.m. I'm starting to learn where everybody's at. So 6:21. So that must put you in Australia too, right? Oh, thank you, Shay. Oh, Asher in the crib. Yeah, that was for Sal. So you may have seen Sal pop in a couple times. He's my best friend, and so when I moved out here, I made those videos all for him. So Andrea has a mouth like Utah, but otherwise, yeah, he's definitely Andrea's side. 9 a.m. in Romania. Wow, that's neat. Did Solly wear the Christmas vest Andrea made him last year? No. He was so proud of that vest. I don't know where it even is. We'll have to try and see if we look for it. It might be in the attic. That's a good question. How's the attic project? It's kind of become Thomas's attic project because in order to get on privilege, you have to have service projects done, and that's when Thomas has kind of taken on himself to work an hour or so in the attic for a service project every week. Quizzing me on times next time. That sounds good. 8:24 p.m. Christmas Eve in New Zealand. Okay, interesting. It is Christmas Eve now. It's Christmas Eve now everywhere except on the West Coast. Well, at least in the United States. So, actually, where's the last place? Where is that at? I don't know. Interesting. What are your plans for Christmas Eve? Well, I have. I'm going to go. I'm not going to work, but I have a customer who has a business, and they want me to come down there. They said they have something for us that they all went in on or something. So I don't know what that's about. So I'm going to go down there and see what that is. And then I want to make some toffee for Christmas gifts. I have to wrap a couple more gifts. The kids have got to wrap their gifts. I want to put some Christmas music on and Christmas smells and just kind of be Christmassy and be home with the kids. I've been working, so I haven't got to see them as much as I wanted to. It is wonderful that they're one of my better customers, and they've always been very kind to me and my family, and very, very nice people. 26 hours to go through all 39 time zones. Interesting. 26 hours. So by the time it's the days switch before. That's curious. Classic Christmas movies. We've been watching them nonstop. So we've watched the Smurfs and Garfield and Charlie Brown, the first one. Berenstain Bears. I get in trouble for saying that wrong. And with the Family Circus, we watched the Better for Worse Christmas special. Fat Albert Christmas special. That's a hard one to find. You guys even know who Fat Albert is? You're not going to see that anymore because that was Bill Cosby's voice, and he's not going to be getting play anywhere anymore. But yeah, we watched quite a few. It's hanging on a hanger in the closet. We saw it once. Okay, well, We've redone things since then, but I'm assuming it must be there still. So we'll go down and look. How many presents would you receive at the end of 12 days for Christmas? Oh, that's a good question. 144? It's 12 to the 1 to the 12th power? No, that's not right. Fun little thing, though. 365, really? Who knew? Polar Express, we have watched it. We haven't watched it recently. And I wanted to watch It's a Wonderful Life with them. Maybe we'll watch that tomorrow. Oh, yeah, Solomon loved the Home Alone movie. They loved the crud out of that. But he just laughed. It was the cutest little hearty laugh for a little boy. He loved it. Yeah, we watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Watch that one, too. I still have half a dozen to watch. I don't know. I don't get to watch them all for Christmas. Bad Santa. Yeah, wait a minute. I think I saw that one. It's filthy, right? But it was pretty funny. Are you the only one awake? Probably not the only one awake, but they're all in their beds. So probably Thomas is still up. I wouldn't be surprised if like Solomon's still up. That's his style. Oh, there's Thomas. Hey, Dad, can I have one of them donuts on the table? Yep. You sure can. I thought somebody else would enjoy them. Knock yourself out. That's his way of telling everybody he's up. Watching the video, doing his rounds of troll squashing. Told you Thomas would be awake. Every time I go by the grocery store in Upton, which is about 20 minutes from here, I pass by there a lot. Ooh, Bible trivia question. Who walked barefoot and naked for 3 years at the Lord's command? It's going to be a prophet. Is it Ezekiel? No, it wasn't Ezekiel. Is that the same one that lied on his left side? Was that Ezekiel? Definitely was a prophet. I don't think it wasn't Isaiah. It's going to be one of the minor prophets. Go ahead. Let me know. You got me. I can tell you as a prophet. I remember when it happened. Isaiah. It was Isaiah. Okay, I got one back at you. How was Isaiah killed? How did Isaiah die? I think I've shared it on one of my channels before, so maybe one of you guys will know. While it's not exactly recorded in the Bible, it is referenced in the Bible. No Googling. Oh, yeah, somebody's either Googling or super smart. Thomas knows, because he's my son. He was put inside of a log, and he was sawed in half. That's how he died. Pretty terrible way to die. Nope, Isaiah definitely died. You're thinking of Elijah. It says in Hebrews, they were stoned, they were put in prison, they were sawed in two, they were put to death by the sword. So it's referenced there where he was sawed in two, but you have to look outside the Bible, to find the story of it. My favorite Christmas story. You know what? I know I'm going to be called a blasphemer, but I never liked that movie. It was so predictable, and I thought it was so dry and lame. And I was a kid, And so as I grew up, I just remembered that I hated it, and so I always kind of hated it. I could always watch it, and it's, I can be entertained by any movie, but it wasn't one of my favorites. Well, that $100 is still up there. That must stay up there a long time when you give a lot. That's amazing. Were you raised Christian early on? If so, was it preterist? No. We've only been preterist. How long? Probably 13, 14, 15 years. Maybe 15 years, probably. But that's the kind of thing you grow into. I don't think anybody's raised that way. I've never met anybody raised that way. Oh, there's Judah. Dad, give me one of those donuts. Yeah, go ahead, Judah. They're still there. Go ahead and have one. I'm glad you guys can have them before they go bad. Which honorable counselor was waiting for the kingdom of God? Oh, man, there's a bunch of people who are waiting for the kingdom of God. You see, that wording, though, is going to be one of the people. You're talking about the lady that, what was her name, that blessed Jesus when they came to the temple? There's a few that were waiting for the kingdom of God. I don't know about counselor. That wording there is, I'm not sure what translation that is. It's doesn't throw me off. There's a few people that said they were waiting in the kingdom of God. Dang, I can't remember the lady that blessed Jesus. Man. Definitely New Testament, obviously, because you're not going to see you waiting for the kingdom of God back then. These homemade donuts, no. Well, I mean, they are made in house by the grocery store. They're not bought, but man, he was waiting the kingdom of God. Was it Apollos, or it's gonna be one of the people Jesus talked to. It's definitely gonna be pre-cross. Remember the first video I saw from the channel was a video of the boys' room, I think, called the Stark Fest. Yeah, that's the one that pretty much everybody came from. That's by far our most popular video. Don't leave me in the dark, Stidham family. Joseph of Arimathea. Okay, yep, okay. Yep. Anna, son of Bethuel. Yeah, that's right. Yep. I was going to be in trouble there, too. Love that your boys can talk to you through this. So funny. Yeah, they are good kids. What do you mean Elijah didn't die? He was taken up to heaven in a whirlwind, it says. But his servant, Elisha, who was inherited a double portion of Elijah's spirit, how did he die? Who knows how Elisha died? Whipped cream filled donuts. I don't know that I've had those. Would I like that? I might not like that. It'd be too sweet. KJV trivia. That's why you got counselor. I should have called you on that. I would have got that. Mills family. Rachel Day doesn't know a lot of Mills family trivia. No, eclairs have got the Bavarian cream in them. Those are good. Those are my favorite. Do you try to sleep? Yeah, I've been sleeping okay. I'll probably get off of this here in, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. I'm usually up at this time anyways. I'm pretty much a late owl. Official name of Andrea's channel. Well, now it's officially the Mills family. But then it was just Andrea Mills. Yep. So no one knows how Elisha died. We're doing some fun trivias. Yep, this is Andrea's hair. Who led the Israelites to the promised land? Oh, that's easy. Joseph. You thought you were going to get me, didn't you? Elisha died from an illness. He got sick and died. That actually is in the Bible. It's funny because Elisha had a double portion of Elijah, who had ridiculous amounts of faith, and yet he still died of an illness. I find that fun. Vegemite is gross. Nope, Moses didn't lead the Israelites to the promised land. God told him that because he did something bad, we're not exactly sure what it was that he ticked God off on, but because he did, God told him he would not go across the little river Jordan. I said, Joshua, I said it already. Could you answer Brittany? I didn't see it. Brittany, can you do a girls' room update? Yes, we can do a girls' room update. But first, Daddy's got to learn how to sew, and he has to sew some curtains, and I'm going to do it. That's the thing that everybody's giving credit for, that he tapped the stick on a rock. But that's actually not actually really clear, because it's told two places. It's in Kings and it's in Chronicles. And one of the places it says God told him to strike the rock, and he struck the rock. Another one it says he told him to speak to the rock, and he struck the rock. He goes, oh, he should have spoke to it. Instead he struck it. And I don't think that was it. God says, because you didn't honor me as holy in their eyes, that's why he got mad at him. And people just assume because they have to find it in the Bible. So if it doesn't say it in the Bible, then it didn't happen in their mind. So they have to go and find, and that's the only they can find. Well, he told him to speak to it, and he hit the rock. But like I said, another one that says hit the rock, and he did hit the rock. So I don't think it's clear. And in fact, Moses is likely writing this stuff down anyways. So it may be that he didn't want to, embarrass himself, or Joshua wrote down some of it. Maybe they didn't want to embarrass Moses, and so they didn't talk about it. That's what I tend to think. Why do atheists say God is cruel? Because there's evil in the world. And at first glance, it sounds like they have an argument. Babies die, and heck, Andrea dies, all kinds of people die, and people suffer and have pain. Isn't that proof there's no God? And I'd say it's funny because in that analogy, they're saying because there's evil and wickedness in the world, God doesn't exist, because if there was a good God, he wouldn't allow that to happen. But that's circular reasoning. It begs the question, because in that scenario, it presupposes God. Say, if there's God, he's not a good God, which that's not an argument against God. So the idea that if there was an immortal being, in your analogy, you're giving me God. So if there's this immortal being that created time and space and matter and earth and people and life, then he probably has a good reason for allowing the things that he does, better than us. So, yep. Here's a question. Did humanity start over after the flood? Like was their father Abraham, but now we're all descendants of Noah? That's the general idea, that we're all descendants of Noah. But perhaps this may be blasphemy to some. If you read the account of the flood in Antiquities, which is the book written by Josephus, where he records his holy books of the day, which are much older than our holy books, there's some stories in there that kind of seem to indicate maybe possibly other people survived the flood besides Noah, which would be giant and bad and difficult to say. I still think we all could descend from Noah now. But, truth is truth. I don't know what happened. There's this verse, and I do not want to talk about Nephilim, because that's one of those things people love to talk about. But it says, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward. And I think that's meant to refer to the flood. They were on the earth those days and also afterward, after the flood. So, I don't know. There's possibility. It doesn't really make a difference to me. I'm not married to how the world has to go and how the things have to play out. I read the Bible for what it is, and I know that's not complete. It's meant to show the lineage of what happens going to Jesus. Peter lost his faith while walking on water. How did he regain it? I don't know that he lost his faith. He was weak. Jesus called his faith weak. I think his biggest mistake was when he denied Jesus 3 times. Crazy topic. Lots of conspiracy nonsense. I missed what we're talking about. Are we talking about Noah? Sorry. Lost your sound? Did I lose sound? You guys still hear me? When the roosters crowed? Yeah, or the rooster. One of the Gospels says before the rooster crows, and one of them says before the rooster crows twice. There's that difference there. I think Nephilim is absolutely blown out of proportion. Okay, good. I hate talking about Nephilim because people love... Oh, that's the conspiracy you're talking about, isn't it? Yes, there certainly are. Certainly are. There's no doubt that the descendants of Rapha were giants. Whether that means that, what you're going to... I'm not going to say it because I don't want to perpetuate that stuff. It's all speculation and nonsense. I'm not saying it's not even true. It could be true. But it's always going to be a mysterious thing that we don't quite know about. Who stole her father's household goods? Of course it was Rachel. Rachel stole her father's household goods. Good one. Does Thomas have to work during the holidays? Yeah, he worked today, so he was a little late to the party. Tom, explain what Vegemite is, how tasty it is. You guys are trying to goad me in. You want me to say it tastes like demons and salt again. Yeah, this is what it tastes like. It's nasty. The Bible says God came to heal the brokenhearted. That being true in the Bible, is there ever a time when the time frame explained to when the heart is healed? No, I don't think so. Is Asher starting to drive? No, we need to revisit his test and go get his permit. Even we haven't even done it yet. Andrea died right when that happened. It messed up. Is this the only world God created? I don't think so. There's nothing in the Bible about it though. So I think I've shared with you guys my opinions about Genesis 1 verse 2, which is the most overlooked verse in the Bible, which seems to indicate that the earth already existed before the first day of creation because God's Spirit hovered over the waters of the deep. He never created water. It was already there. So that means that whatever this planet was already there. And I like to think the rest of the planets are already there. There's never a place where he created planets. It's a place where it says he created the stars, but it doesn't say planets. I like to think a God who's infinite and has always existed outside of time probably didn't just sit there twiddling his thumbs for infinite years waiting to make mankind. He probably did all kinds of things before then. Who knows what? The Bible is a story about this world. It's not a story about other worlds. The Bible, it says how when we sin after being saved, we would sin against the cross of Christ unforgivable. Not exactly. I believe the verse is, if we deliberately keep on sinning after we have received the knowledge of the truth, no sacrifice for sins is left, but only a fearful expectation of judgment and of raging fire that will consume the enemies of God. I think you can read that very carefully. It is Basora. I don't know what that is. No, I don't think that's unforgivable sin. I think the unforgivable sin is definitely just related to that one situation Jesus was in and calling the Holy Spirit evil. So God makes bad things happen as well as he sent people to hell. What's your opinion? That sounds like a Calvinist thinking. I am not a Calvinist. I do believe in free will, although I was a Calvinist for a brief stint. There is a verse that says everything is created for a purpose, even the wicked for the day of disaster. So that's an interesting verse. I like to think about that. But I do believe God is righteous and just. He's a definition of righteousness and justness. But whether or not that means I don't think anybody sends people to hell. I think everybody has a free choice. That's what I think. That's going to cause a rift, though, because there's going to be Calvinists here, too. And I understand that, and I appreciate your point of view. In truth, the stories of Noah and Ham stealing Adam and Eve's clothes from the ark that God made for them in the garden, I have never heard that one. There's certainly not any justification for such a story. Didn't back then they died on a torture stake dictates history? The Romans were crucifying people for hundreds of years, so they all kinds of ways. It says in Josephus that Romans would often crucify parents with their kids tied in a noose hanging from their neck. So the kids would be hung from their parents' necks while they were on a cross. Sometimes they were X, sometimes they're big T, small t, sometimes just a piece of wood in the ground, whatever they happen to have at the time. Oh, yeah, I'm going to create parties and I'm going to get people upset too. I love talking to Calvinists because they are very knowledgeable about what they believe and they have very interesting takes on verses that I enjoy looking at that. So I appreciate those conversations. Like I said, I used to be one, but I definitely believe in free will. So think about the planet being overpopulated. I would want you to tell me how you know it's overpopulated. And I'll bet you can't. How do we get to Bible trivia? I think Stidham family brought it up, and it's just been fun ever since. Hope I don't offend anybody. It's just fun. Trivia of any kind. Oh boy, International Homemaker. You will have to check out my video. If you do a YouTube search for Tom Mills' End of the World, I will give you all my opinions about that stuff. But that's not something I'm going to answer quite right now. We're going through a Bible study, and we will get to that question as it comes up and it reveals itself in the scripture in the time it comes up. And I will definitely answer it. But I'm not out to rock the boat just yet. Let's just continue going along together. Government tells us. Yeah, that's right. Marry life. I think the planet is not overpopulated because I believe in God. I believe He made it for us. However, I think it's fair to say that you cannot prove the planet is overpopulated or not overpopulated. I do think if you say it's overpopulated, that's definitely because you've been watching certain information. I actually have a video. What video did I talk about that? Oh, why we have so many. That's one of my popular videos on my channel. I have my own channel too. I don't really use it anymore. But why do you religious people have so many kids? That's the name of my video. If you do Tom Mills, why do you religious people have so many kids? I talk about the overpopulation stuff in there, and I leave some very neat videos to at least give you some interesting information to show that there is another side to some people who think it's not overpopulated. Good night, Minnie Mouse. Thanks for popping in. In Wyoming, there's an amazing amount of people and a giant landmass. It's not overpopulated here. Come alive when you speak of Father's word. It's definitely your calling. I love talking about the Bible. I love talking about that stuff. Is observable physical evidence more important? You got a really deep question. Where are you getting these, Tammy? Okay, is observable physical evidence more important and valid than what the Bible claims to be true? No. No. But I don't think they're in conflict. I don't think they're in conflict. Anything that seems to go outside those observable things would, there's a supernatural reason for. So that defies the explanation of physics anyways. So there's only a finite number of resources. Well, who says? Who says? If Africa was reclaimed and farmed, it could feed the entire world. One of the statistics I've heard is that everybody in the entire world could live in conditions similar to that of New York, with a house and a small yard in a landmass the size of Texas. Every single person. Which disciple asked Jesus to show them the Father? Show us the Father. That'll be enough for us. Is that Thomas? Show us the Father, and that will be enough for us. That was when Jesus was right about to be crucified and taken away. It was one of the 12. I want to say it was Thomas. But it's not our country. Yeah, obviously. I'm not saying you can force it on people. But, we have countries out there with a government that's corrupt, and they don't take care of their own people. They much less don't farm anything else. And so that's not a problem of not enough resources. That's a problem of some forms of government being corrupt and oppressive to people and keeping them in poverty and starvation. And that's just not good. So that's not related to the situation of whether or not there's too many people on our planet. I was going to say, I think a little probably after Wyoming, yeah, there's not many people here. That's a good point, Tammy. I like it. Was it Ham's descendants that became great and mighty warrior for the Lord, and when it was destroyed by God because they were very wicked? Ham's descendants. One of them was good. It was blessed be the God of Shem. So no, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So Shem was the blessed one. So I think it was Ham that was the wicked one. Philip. Well, that was an obscure one. Good one. Good. You got me. You got me. But there is not starvation even in America. There's starvation everywhere. There's always going to be poor people. But Gandhi once said, "I want to go to America where the poor are fat." And so there's differences in everywhere. But I think it's less to do with if our world is overpopulated, and more to do with individual countries, laws, and governments. Ham was the wicked one for sure. Okay, yeah. Does your arcade machine have GTA? No, I'm not a fan of GTA. I let my kids play pretty much any video game. But games that blur the line between good and evil, I think they have to be much older to be able to appreciate. And I don't even want to play them myself. So GTA is not a game I enjoy, even though I have played it. When I was a kid, I played the first one. That's before I decided of a theory about. I hadn't thought about the situation. Take over Africa. I'm not saying we take over Africa. No. I'm saying that if Africa were cultivated properly and reclaimed as farming land by whoever wants to do it, should be the people of Africa, because that would be a great boon and it would help their country immensely. They could farm, they could produce enough agriculture to feed the entire world by itself. That's the argument. It's not saying we should go conquer Africa and take it. We can do that here. It just should give you an idea of the amount of land you would need to feed the whole world. So there are much better places. I mean, actually, Africa is a great place. They're actually going through a lot. I don't know if you followed that, but there are people that are building farms over there, and people come in and they buy land and they actually farm the land and they put giant farms there and they ranch it and they grow crops. And then the people of Africa kick them out. I forget what they call them, because they're not originally from there, and they kill them and kick them out because they say, this is our land and you're making this, they made this all this wealthy and made it all profitable and growing stuff. That should be feeding our people, not, that should be making money for you. And so it's actually a pretty big thing going over there. Or preserve the planet. God has a new plan. He will create new heaven and new earth, not marred by sin. Well, that's a question I'd love to jump in on, but I think if you study out the new heavens and the new earth, I think you'll get a much different scenario than what you think it is. I don't think heaven needs to be destroyed, and I don't think earth needs to be destroyed. When it says a new heavens and a new earth, I think you're misunderstanding the way the Bible uses those terms. To give you an idea, the Song of Moses in Deuteronomy 32. I promise, it's my late night Bible study. It's late night live stream, and maybe it's Bible study sometimes, and I'm just talking about whatever comes in. So I'm sorry, you people that don't want to hear Bible study stuff. I won't do too much, but Deuteronomy 32 says, Moses, the Song of Moses, listen, you heavens, and I will speak. Hear, you earth, the words of my mouth. So in that verse there, listen, you heavens, and I will speak. Hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. Let my teaching fall like rain. Is that talking to the ground and to the sky? And when you start to understand what that verse is saying and who it's talking to, you'll start to get a better understanding of what it means when it says heaven and earth. Yes, Africa is a continent. I'm not talking about the nation of South Africa. I'm talking about the continent of Africa. We should always be good stewards of our earth. Absolutely. Okay, you're going to keep talking to me. Do you believe the earth is flat? No. But I am what you would call a flat earth sympathizer. And that means that I don't think their arguments can be so easily washed aside. I can wash them aside, in my opinion, but I know some good people who are not flat earthers, and I can respect them. I don't think it's as silly as it initially seems. So there you go. You got me to talk about it. See, if you ask enough times, I'll answer it anyways. Oh man, see, that's where it goes from there. Do people went to the moon? I believe both sides of that scenario. I've been both sides of it. I'm not going to tell you where I'm at right now. Sun is starting to rise in Scotland. Wow. Girls wearing Christmas dresses, we'll wear them on Christmas. We'll wear them on Christmas. I refer to the continent of Africa as a country. My bad. I'm sorry. That was not correct. No, I don't mind. I would have answered it if I didn't want to answer it. I'm having anxiety on some of these questions. I'm sorry, Pamela. I in America, everything's controversial. That's the truth. Nova Scotia. I don't think I've ever heard someone from there. I get a bunch of different people when I come on late. What computer games do the older kids like playing? I think the big ones now are Sea of Thieves. They still dabble in Minecraft on occasion. Justus likes to play Paladins. Are you comfortable with not knowing exactly where you are in beliefs on some subject? Absolutely. Very comfortable about it. Because in my point of view, there are many subjects that you can't get hashed out. I do not need to have them all hashed out. $158. Romania. I get a bunch of people on that side of the world all this time now. Here's thoughts on things. I love talking about stuff. I don't mind asking questions. I won't answer the question if I don't want it. I admit that I saw that question a lot of times and I ignored it, and then I answered it. So heck, you changed me. How do you make holy water? Well, that's not a question I'm qualified to answer. I'm not so sure I believe in holy water, but tells me God isn't real, and that really scares me. You know what? Every Christian wonders if God's real. And if they say they don't, they're probably lying. That's the thing. It says that we see through a glass but dimly. And it's God that darkened the glass. He wants us to have faith in him. It doesn't take faith to believe in what you can see. So God has put us here, and he's drawn himself back far enough to where we ask the question, is he real? Is he not? I don't know. And he wants to, it says, he did this, and Paul, when he was talking to the people in Athens, he says, he did this so that men would reach out to him and find him and be found with him, even though he is not far from any one of us. So he wants us to search for him and to find him. And he knows if you're being serious, you always doubt. There's nothing wrong with doubting. That's just reasonable. So you just keep working on it. I know holy water is blessed water, but I don't believe in it still. I think you can bless water, but I personally don't think that it holds any more holiness than regular water. God is holy, not water. Smart water is smart, though. Jacob made altar from a rock and blessed it with oil, and he called that place Bethel. That's right. It's the place that became Bethlehem. But it wasn't because of the oil. It's because he blessed it. See you later, J.K. Peterson. It's nice to talk to you. I'm glad you came. Merry Christmas. Does that smart water work? I'm feeling pretty smart right now, but I feel smart all the time. Is it true that Christmas Day is not actually Jesus' birthday? I'm certain. Well, I'm not certain. It could be any one of the other days, so it could be. It's not likely. Is the holy water a Catholic thing? Yes, generally that is true. How's Asher doing? He's actually doing very well. Stimpan family will ask what the first offering was, Tom. That's my recollection of the cuff. I missed it. Last year's question, Tom. What is the first offering made to the Lord recorded in the Bible? That's gonna be the offering of Abel's offering that God accepted of the animals. Is that gonna be it? Hopefully that's the first one. I don't think there's one before that. Christian just means Christ-like, and they were just called Christians, mostly as a derogatory term. They first called them Christians in Antioch. So you can call yourself whatever you want. If you believe what the Bible says, you believe what the Bible says. And you serve God, you serve God. What he calls you isn't really relevant. Yeah, Cain's offering wasn't accepted, though, and Abel's was accepted. So I think Abel's technically would be first. It's nice to see you. And it's not an intentional homemaker. That's a much better name than international homemaker. See you later. Have you had much interaction with the Jehovah's Witnesses? I have had interactions with them, and I know some of their beliefs, and so I can debate with them. But I haven't hardcore studied it. So I'm really up to date on my Mormon witnessing because they show up at our house a lot, and so I talk to them a lot, and a few other denominations and religions. Oh, thank you guys. That's very nice. Jesus healed a man's eyes with spit, but Mark records in the first attempt he wasn't able to see fully. I kind of think, I'm not a big fan of making the things go twice. I'd have to look at it again, but I kind of think that those are two different people. The guy who first saw his trees and the one about have taken it twice. Cain's fruit of the ground. Yeah, but it says that Abel's was accepted, but Cain's wasn't. So that makes you think that Abel's was actually first. Genesis 4:3, you said. In the course of time, Cain brought some fruits, and Abel also brought an offering. Okay, I was wrong. Good job. Got me. Doesn't smile much anymore. Who? Me? Asher? Asher never smiles. He does when you're not looking, though. That's who we're talking about. Every religion has their own certain set of beliefs that God expects of them. This confuses me. I imagine that is confusing. If you don't know which one is the right one, I would encourage you to check them out and decide and see for yourself. I think a lot of people say they don't know which one that confuses them, but they've never looked at any of them. So if you really are concerned with which one is correct, I think you should check them all out. I think Christianity stands that test. So check them all out, weigh them all out, see when they were created, how long they've been around, and what evidence there is for and against, and I think that's a fair thing. Those are the gold cups there. Well, thank you, Stidham family. What if you get the wrong one? Well, that's a good question. But I think if you actually have tried and sought after it, that's between you and God. I'm not the judge, and I couldn't tell you. But I think most people just say, there's too many, I won't try. They don't look at any of them. I've never met somebody that wasn't sure which religion to do it, and so they checked them all out and made a decision on one. I've never met anybody that's like that. Most people just hide behind the idea that there's so many religions, how do you know which one's right? And they've never given any of them any serious thought, which means they don't really care anyways. The baptized one, I'm going to stay away from. I don't think it's fruitless. I don't think it's fruitful. I am looking forward to spending time with the kids tomorrow. I'm not going to answer that one either. Whew. How many years are between the Old and New Testament? That's a good question because they're just arbitrary lines that someone has drawn. So you have to identify what the Old Covenant is and what the New Covenant. New Covenant's is Jesus' blood. So that would have been in 32. Old Covenant would be the Ten Commandments. So there's not a lot. There's more time right now that it's passed. Well, since Jerusalem was destroyed to now, than of all of the Bible combined. I think 1,800 years. I think. I'm going to say that. What I mean is not fruitful. I mean, God is the judge of who goes to heaven and who does not. And I believe that if you want to go to heaven and you want to seek God's face, you should read and study and seek to know Him and what He wants from you. And I think that's all you need to do. If you're studying the Bible and you come to one conclusion or another on that topic, I think you should do that. I think the baptism question, it's an illusion because go get baptized. Who cares? You're baptized, great. And then what? If most people have already made that decision. Almost everybody that asks that question, do you have to be baptized, already is either baptized or purposely not been baptized. They already have an opinion about this. So the reason people talk about it has nothing to do with the fact of the matter. It's just a vehicle for arguing, I found. So it's less, most people have either done it or not already. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. I didn't answer it. Did I? If I did, I didn't mean to. So it's a question people get very passionate about one way or the other. And I have found I've been in many arguments about it. I have found that it doesn't really serve any purpose to argue about. There are better hills to die on. Are you part of the Quiverful movement? No, but I don't have any problem with it. We still got a bunch of people, don't we? Good night, Camachos. Nice to see you. How many? I forgot what we were talking about. I don't know if that's to me or not. Baptized 18-year-old. If you don't get baptized, I don't think it's wrong. Andrea painted these. It's not wallpaper. She painted these all by hand. She had a thing she traced, and then she painted all these with a brush, and then she had a plastic baggie, and she faux finished each one. It's wonderful. She wanted to paint over it, and I kept telling her no. I loved it. And now I'll probably never paint over it. Favorite 80s slang words, phrases? I'm from the 80s. I'd have to think. Bodacious. That's a fun one. When do you and the kids open presents? We do in the morning. Should be fun. We're going to have Grandma Kitty come over. She doesn't have any place to go, and she'll have fun letting the kids open presents. You take Grandma Fern some toffee? I was going to bring her some gingerbread men, and I did not. I'm not sure about giving old people toffee. I'm not sure that's smart. So, but Duffy was wanted to give her some gingerbread, and I completely forgot. Will you do a Christmas Day vlog? I will have Christmas video. I don't have a problem recording the kids opening presents. I've done that many times over the years. So I'm definitely not going to go live or anything. Are you going to bed, Stinham family? Well, thanks. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure. I'm going to wrap this up here before long, too. Are the Dead Sea Scrolls older than the Bible? That's a good question, because the Bible it's various ages all over the place. So some of them are extremely old. So many of the Great Scroll of Isaiah predates Jesus, but a lot of the Dead Sea Scrolls are parts of the Bible, so they don't really predate the Bible. But good question. Yeah, Knott's Farm is awesome. Favorite Christmas song? Oh man, I don't know. That's too hard. Too hard. Why will you probably paint over it? I will probably not paint over it. If I got remarried and somebody really wanted to do it, I might consider it then. But other than that, I'm not gonna. Yep, still don't know my favorite Christmas song. I can't think of one. Too many good ones. Huh, huh. Eggs tell jokes, they crack each other up. Yeah, I think I will. I will cut this off here, everybody. I appreciate you hanging out here with me, and we appreciate all of you. When did your stepfather pass away? My stepfather didn't pass away, but my real dad passed away when I was 10. All right, guys, I'm gonna get off. I appreciate you all, and thanks for hanging out with me. It cheered me up. I appreciate it. We will talk to you guys later. I'll probably do maybe a package opening possibly tomorrow, because I have Christmas gifts, and if I don't do it tomorrow, you guys won't get to see us open them. So I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow.